What is going on, everybody? Zac Graham back again for FTNDaily.com, previewing Game Week 50 on the NBA side of things at Sorare. We're into our first full week of playoff action. The first round got started over the weekend, and obviously in Game Week 49, we had play-in games and first-round games make up our scoring there. So I hope you did well. If you tailed that common lineup last week, we had a little sweat going down at the end. But before we get into Game Week 50, and I think we've got our rewards just came in from last week, so we can open those as well. Just a reminder, if you're just getting started on Sorare, before you sign up, or I guess I should say, when you sign up, make sure you do so through the link in the description of this video, because when you do that, you're going to get a free limited card with the purchase of your first 5, or I should say, with the purchase of 5 cards on the primary marketplace. So not a bad deal there to kickstart your scarcity card collection here on Sorare, where we're bringing the physical and digital world together. And I don't think that is any more evident across the 3 Sorare platforms between NBA, MLB, and global football than in the NBA side of things right now. We detailed this a little bit last week, but you can go to the Sorare blog and read all the details about the playoff contests. You know, we've got the game week competitions, which are weekly, and now the playoff tournaments that are running the duration of the postseason. The scores for the game week competitions are cumulatively totaled to produce a playoff tournament score. But both contest types offer rewards. So, you know, your weekly card rewards and things like that, they're not going away. We've just got a little bit of extra juice here in the playoffs. You've also got scoring bonuses. So any scarcity cards that you owned before the start of the playoffs last game week, those get a 15% scoring bonus for the duration of the playoffs. So those managers who are already collecting are getting a little bit of a cookie here throughout the postseason. And if a card is sold or traded during the playoffs, that playoff scoring bonus does go away. So just keep that in mind. Again, going over to that Sorare blog, you can take a look at a detailed breakdown of these prizes. There's more than $100,000 worth of total prizes being given out during these playoff competitions. You know, if you're up with the big boys in those super rare and unique tournaments, winners of those contests, it seems like each game week will receive a choice of a VIP experience either at the 2024 NBA Paris game or the 2024 All-Star Weekend. So again, there's more details in the blog, but that is pretty cool. And again, over the cumulative contests here, you're going to be able to redeem credits. When you cash in those contests every week, you're going to get credits. And at the end of the postseason, you're going to be able to redeem those credits for dozens of different, types of rewards here. NBA branded rewards, headphones, apparel, gear, mini hoops, all that type of stuff. So I'm really excited to continue through this playoff slate with you all. And again, more details on the playoff rewards and how that works on that Sorare blog. Let's jump into some of the potential buys this week. If you're looking to add to your scarcity card collection to compete throughout these playoffs, again, you won't get that playoff bonus if you're buying or selling a card right now. But, you know, up top, as they have been, the biggest names, like the trio of MVP finalists, right, with Giannis, Embiid, and Jokic, all those guys at or around $200 low asks for their limited card right now. So, you know, if you've got the bankroll, certainly not going to steer you away from adding any of those guys to your collection. But I still think that those Lakers guys, specifically Bron and Anthony Davis. I mean, Anthony Davis, of course, that ask has come up from about, I think, $65, $70 2 weeks ago. Now $100 low ask for Anthony Davis. LeBron a little bit cheaper, right around $75 right now. But we know we're going to get scoring out of them through the first round. And with Ja Morant's hand injury, I think the Lakers' outlook's certainly a little bit more rosy after this first game than it was headed into the series, coming off that, struggle bus game against Minnesota. Ultimately, of course, they won that to get the 7th seed. But I think now these Lakers guys, you're really thinking about potentially getting two and maybe more if you're super optimistic about the Lakers, like 2 rounds of production out of these guys. I think these are some good values on the marketplace. But let's look at some other scenarios from the first weekend, like the Clippers took down game 1 over the Suns. You can get a KD with just a 41 cap, $80 low ask. For Durant, Devin Booker, we're looking at another $82 low ask with a 40 cap. So those guys are some decent values. I guess on the other side of that Lakers series with Ja Morant doubtful for game 2, you look at a Desmond Bane for $20. Again, the cap on him, some of these other guys, Jaren Jackson Jr., 38 on Bane, 43 on Jaren Jackson, but $40 low ask for Triple J. And now Tyus Jones going to get the start and be plenty productive. He's got a 28 cap still, some residual, Ja Morant out during the regular season, I think lingering there, but $11 low ask for a Tyus Jones. And I guess one more place before we go build our common lineup. How about the Bucks, right? Giannis, I think, questionable. There's some optimism this morning here on Monday that Giannis will be available for game 2 in that series. Left mid-game yesterday with the back issue, did not return. And of course, Miami took game 1 from the Bucks. So if Giannis does sit, let's take a look at like a Chris Middleton here, right? You can get a Chris Middleton, 33 on the cap, $32 low ask. Drew Holiday, 38 on the cap, $25 low ask. And I guess for good measure, let's take a look. Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Brolo, $16 low ask. Bobby Portis, we'll pull him up here. Again, all 4 of those guys you would expect to have a little bit of a better outlook here fantasy-wise. 32 cap on Bobby, $17 low ask right now. So plenty of ways, I think, if you're on a bit more of an economical budget here on Sorare, I still think you can buy some high-caliber players that you expect to be able to score for you for multiple rounds throughout the playoffs. So still some decent buys, I think, there on the marketplace. Let's get to our common build, though, this week. Let's look what happened last week. Again, 2 rewards out of these 3 lineups last week. Man, did we have a sweat in that limited contender contest, starting out with 42 from Jalen Williams, Jalen with a Y, in that play-in game, 64 from Lowry in his first play-in game, 55 from Conley in that overtime loss at the Lakers in the play-in. Julius Randle plays, so takes the ceiling off Obi Toppin, but 17 after those other 3 scores. We were sitting top 200 with Cam Payne still to go yesterday, and then Cam Payne, of course, ruled out. So top 600 out of 9,000 entries with a 0 in there. Oh, stings a little bit, but we'll take a limited reward. I think that's a tier 3. We'll open that here in a second. That common lineup we built last week with Jokic in the MVP spot, the values of Durant, Bam, and DeJounte Murray. Everybody came through for us, really, except for the reigning 2-time MVP in Nikola Jokic, who got to sit down a little bit early last night in his one game. And so that was a little bit of a disappointment because you see we finished 283rd out of 68,000 entries in that pickup contest. So, what could have been? But we will take it. Let's open the rewards before we build a common lineup. Tier 2 common coming in as our reward. Suns, Ayton. We love to see that, going throughout the playoffs. 29 cap there on Ayton. And our tier 3 limited from that limited contender contest. Lakers, D'Angelo. Malik Beasley. Would have loved to see a D'Lo pop up there. But we will take it nonetheless. Never complaining about getting some rewards here on Sorare. So let's head over. Let's build our pickup lineup. Again, Giannis may miss game 2, so I'm not going to play him. Any of these guys, of course, in the MVP spot, not going to count towards our cap. I think it's fine. I'm fine. I don't have much of a lean between Jokic, Anthony Davis, and Joel Embiid here. You do get 3 bites at the apple, 3 games this week for Jokic and Embiid compared to just 2 for Anthony Davis. I do think Anthony Davis continues to put up big scores. But, if you feel a little bit more comfortable with the Jokic or Embiid getting 3 tries at it this game week, I'm fine to go there. I do have the plus 9.5% XP bonus here on Anthony Davis. So I may tinker with that going up to lock. Let's go ahead and just lock in Jokic. He's got 3 games, demolishing, I think, this Minnesota front court last night in some limited time. So I guess the only real way you get hurt by a Jokic play this week is if they continue to just dominate this Minnesota side. All right, well let's build out the rest of the lineup here. I think we can stay in that same series just as we did last week. You should not expect another 40-point outburst from Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but he does open up a ton in your lineups this week. Stayed in that Minnesota starting lineup in place of Jaden McDaniels last night. So I think even if he was put back in a bench role, I think with McDaniels out here, we're going to continue to see run from Alexander Walker, where the 9 cap just makes a ton of sense here, because look what we can do slotting him in. I think there's 2 different ways I will end up attacking this tonight. First, give me 3 games of KD at 41. We can certainly go Jaylen Brown here. He had the big game between him and Tatum there in game 1. Obviously, Boston taking care of Atlanta, making quick work there. Although Atlanta didn't quit. They closed the gap a little bit there in the second half. That leaves us with 30 cap remaining. We could throw in that new DeAndre Ayton that's in our collection there. Obviously, last night just 29 and has not been performing fantasy-wise with Kevin Durant in the lineup lately. So what I'm looking at here is a 28 cap on Andrew Wiggins, who made his return in game 1 after, I think, 2+ months off from the team, right around there. I'm glad to see he's back. He came off the bench, but played 28 minutes, which is damn near full run for Andrew Wiggins, 32 minutes per game on the season. He looked fine to me. So I think over the course of this week, we're going to get, maybe even in game 2, Andrew Wiggins back in that starting role. And I think that's a pretty good way to round out this lineup. But we also have the, Giannis questionable, I think, for tomorrow. To be sure. So what if we slot in a Chris Middleton here at 33 cap? That leaves us with 37. And I think some decent options here in the collection at 37. You could go DeJounte Murray, who had a big game in game 1 against the Celtics. Really one of the bright spots there on a day that wasn't very bright for the Hawks. Nick Claxton, they're going to need him out there every minute possible against Joel Embiid, but that's not really the matchup I want to attack. So Jamal Murray, who fantasy-wise has been great. The minutes obviously are going to be huge here in the playoffs. So I think if I go Jamal Murray there, I think I'm going to get off of Jokic, which you don't have to. Obviously, Jokic, I'm fine to play those 2 together, but I think in that scenario, I would go Anthony Davis or Joel Embiid just to diversify, among the teams I have there in my lineup. But I think a lot of different ways you can go here in the playoffs, especially if you have somebody like Nickeil Alexander-Walker in your collection to open up that value. Some other options, like if you don't have a Nickeil, right? Jeff Green is acceptable, going to play rotation minutes. Terrence Mann, David Roddy, but I think Daron Sharp is pretty interesting to me. He's got 3 games, just a 15 cap there, and he's going to need to play every minute that Nick Claxton doesn't. So also a decent value there. Just some options. We'll lock this in. I'll be tinkering throughout the day. And again, if you ever need a second set of eyes or have any questions about Sorare, don't hesitate to tag me on Twitter at KawhiSenbergDFS or in the FTN Daily Discord channels. And good luck this week. Again, if you're just signing up for Sorare, make sure you do so through the link in the description of this video to get that free limited card with the purchase or with the first 5 purchases you make on that primary market, building out that scarcity card collection. Playoffs are rolling. I'm juiced up. I'm ready for another great week of Sorare NBA action. Good luck in game week 50, and we'll see you back here next Monday. Hopefully opening up some more good reward cards and getting ready for game week 51. Good luck this week. We'll see you on Monday.